If you're considering the Bering Sea Crab Fisherman's Tour during your Alaska cruise, an amazing adventure is ahead of you, but there are definitely some things you'll want to know before you go. In this video, I'll share 10 things you should know before booking this excursion, including what the experience is really like, what to wear, how to capture the best wildlife photos, tips for making the most of your time on board, and important transportation information, especially if your ship docks at Ward Cove. Because the last thing you want on Alaska cruise is to waste your valuable port time, arrive stressed, or risk missing your excursion. Let's get started. Number one, this is more than just a crab fishing tour. When most people hear the name Bering Sea Crab Fisherman's Tour, they probably imagine learning about crab fishing, and that is definitely part of the experience. But this excursion is much more than that. You board a boat where former Bering Sea fishermen share their stories and give you a behind the scenes look at what life was like working in one of the world's most challenging fishing environments. Throughout the tour, they explain the equipment, share stories from their time on and under the water, and introduce different sea creatures that guests can actually see and touch. You can hold some of the creatures and take photos with them if you like. Number two, the boat experience is part of what makes this excursion special. One thing I really liked about this excursion was that you weren't stuck in one place the entire time. The seating is arranged almost like theater seating, so everyone has a good view during the presentations. But you are also free to move around and experience different areas of the boat. You can go upstairs, walk toward the bow, explore different viewing areas, and take in the scenery from different perspectives. The views alone are incredible. Being out on the water gives you a completely different perspective of Ketchikan. Even if you just went for the scenery, I think this excursion would already be worth considering. Number three, dress for the wind, not just the temperature. I took this excursion on June 3rd, and one thing I was really glad I packed was layers. The temperature wasn't extremely cold, but being out on the water means you can experience constant wind. There is seating on both the upper and lower decks. The lower deck is more sheltered from the wind, so it's definitely warmer there. On the upper deck, I enjoyed having my gloves, though I didn't see other people wearing them. I wore a puffer jacket, which came in handy when I was on the upper deck. They made standing in the wind much more comfortable. If you're wondering what to pack for your Alaska cruise, I created a downloadable and printable Alaska Cruise packing list, which is found inside my Alaska Cruise Insider Guide. The guide includes top recommendations for excursions. It helps you to save time and money. I've left a link to the guide in the description below. Number four, keep your camera ready. Wildlife can surprise you. One thing to remember with any Alaska wildlife experience is that nothing is guaranteed. Every trip is different. But one of the amazing things about Alaska is you never know what you might see next. Before our excursion even began, we were fortunate enough to see a group of orcas in the water as soon as we pulled up to the port. Looking back at my footage, I believe there were at least four orcas and possibly even a baby. It was an incredible surprise. Who knows, you might see whales while you're out on the boat. One important tip is to always have your camera ready and keep watching the water around you, no matter where you are. You never know when Alaska is going to surprise you. Number five, the bald eagle feeding is the highlight of the excursion. Now let's talk about what many people, including myself, consider the highlight of this excursion, the bald eagle feeding. During the tour, the fishermen have an agreement with the locals that allows them to feed the bald eagles. When it happens, the birds come out in incredible numbers. There were so many bald eagles flying about the boat. I would estimate that there were at least a couple dozen birds coming from different directions, swooping down towards the water. If you love wildlife, this is an amazing opportunity to see bald eagles up close. The combination of being on the water, surrounded by Alaska scenery, while watching these birds fly all around you and grab food off of the water is something very special to see on this excursion. Number six, how to capture better bald eagle photos and videos. If you're hoping to capture photos and videos during the bald eagle feeding, there are a few things that can really help. I noticed more than one traveler had a camera with a zoom lens, and if you already own one, this is definitely the kind of experience where you'll appreciate bringing it. However, you can still capture great photos and videos with your phone. The fisherman gave us an excellent photography tip. Switch your camera to slow motion. I found that really helped because the bald eagles move incredibly fast when they're feeding. Another thing I noticed is that when the birds are directly overhead, they often just appear as dark shadows against the sky. For better photos and videos, try to capture them straight on or from a downward angle instead. Also, pay attention to where the food is being thrown because that is where the action will happen. Number seven, be prepared for crowds during the eagle feeding. During the eagle feeding, everyone naturally wants the perfect photo. People gather along the railings on both levels and it can get crowded. My advice is to take your turn, get your photos and videos, then step aside so someone else can enjoy the view too. In my experience, people were good about doing this on the boat. There are plenty of opportunities because the birds continue coming in for quite a while. Number 8, choose the seat on the boat that's best for you. Another thing to consider when you take your seat is whether you'd rather be on the lower deck or the upper deck and towards the back of the boat or the front. If you don't get the seat you wanted, once again, you can move around the boat during the excursion. One thing to keep in mind that the back of the boat is a bit more noisy because of the engine. If you prefer a quieter experience, the front of the boat may be better for you. Number 9, plan your port day around this excursion. One thing I really liked about this excursion was the timing. My original excursion time was 7:30 in the morning, but it was changed to an 8:15 a.m. departure. Even with that later time, we finished around 11 a.m., which gave me several hours to enjoy Ketchikan before my ship departed. If you're trying to fit more into your port day, the timing of your excursion matters. Number 10, know your transportation options before booking, especially if you'll be docked at Ward Cove. Before you book this excursion, there's one very important thing you need to consider. Where does your cruise ship dock in Ketchikan? This excursion departs from berth 3. If your ship docks at berth 3, getting there is very simple. You can walk right off your ship and over to the boat. If you will be docked at another berth downtown, it is still very manageable. From berth 1, walk north 5 to 7 minutes. From berth 2, walk north about 2 to 3 minutes. And from berth 4, walk south for about 3 to 5 minutes. However, if your ship docks at Ward Cove, the logistics are completely different. Ward Cove is about 7 miles from berth 3. If you will be docked at Ward Cove, it's very important to plan your transportation carefully. If you book directly and if you book through another third party company, transportation is not included. There is a free shuttle available from Ward Cove to downtown and from downtown to Ward Cove, and the ride itself takes about 15 to 20 minutes. The free buses from Ward Cove do run continuously, but there may be a 20 to 30-minute wait or longer before the bus arrives. Lines can form during busy periods, both at Ward Cove and at Ketchikan, for the free bus. My cruise ship, the NCL Jade, was docked at Ward Cove. I booked this excursion through my cruise line. The difference was that my cruise line booking included transportation to and from the excursion. That gave me peace of mind because I knew transportation was arranged and I didn't have to worry about getting there on my own from Ward Cove. In my experience, I took the excursion bus from Ward Cove to Ketchikan, but they gave us an option since we had plenty of time before we had to be back on the ship. We could stay in Ketchikan and take the free shuttle back to Ward Cove. Because my excursion was done around 11 a.m. and my ship wasn't due to depart until 4:30 p.m., I chose to take the free shuttle. The benefit of taking the paid bus there was knowing that the excursion would not leave without me if for some reason I was late. When I was ready to return to Ketchikan with the free bus, my wait was 40 minutes in line, followed by another 15 to 20 minutes of riding time. So the total time can add up very quickly. For my 4:30 p.m. sailing, I left downtown around 2 p.m. to give myself plenty of time to return and then do some shopping at Ward Cove while avoiding unnecessary stress. Leaving at this time worked well for me. Once you arrive back at Ward Cove, the walk from the mill at Ward Cove or the warehouse shopping center back to the ship is only about 7 minutes, so it's very easy to gauge how much time you have available left for shopping. If you've booked with the cruise line and you wanted to return from Ketchikan on the paid excursion bus, you would skip the 40-minute in-line wait. However, you would also miss out on additional hours in Ketchikan and seeing the town because there would be too much time wasted going back and forth from Ward Cove to Ketchikan. The main takeaway is this: if your ship docks at Ward Cove, don't just look at the excursion price. Also consider transportation, timing, how much stress you want in your port day. For me, everything was smooth sailing, though I did have the long wait in line in Ketchikan. Sometimes booking through your cruise line gives you the best peace of mind, and for me, this was worth it to make sure that everything went smoothly to get to my excursion. I had more flexibility after my excursion to play with the remaining hours. Is the Bering Sea Crab Fisherman's Tour worth it? After experiencing this excursion, I would absolutely recommend it. For me, this was a 10 out of 10 experience. The stories from the fishermen, the sea creatures, the scenery, and especially watching the bald eagles made this one of my favorite Alaska cruise excursions. If you found this helpful, consider sharing it with a fellow traveler. If you'd like to keep planning your Alaska cruise, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video next. It has more tips to help you make the most of your Alaska cruise. Happy Alaskan travels!